The Gold Cup started in 2013 as the Community Cup, as a pre-season competition. That ran for 3 years to 2015. It was then decided in 2016 to rebrand the tournament as the Gold Cup. It coincided with a move to the postseason, where it provided a more logical climax to the season for clubs. We have in South Africa clubs playing in provincial leagues, domestic leagues from March to August, and then the champions of those provincial leagues then qualify for the Gold Cup, which takes place in September and October. The Gold Cup is identical in format to the Rugby World Cup, so we have 20 teams divided into 4 pools of 5. The top 2 from each pool progress to the quarters, the semis and the final, so it's identical to Rugby World Cup. It's easy to understand, people like the format, and where we get the 20 teams from, it's the provincial champions of our 14 provincial unions. In addition to that, we have teams from Zimbabwe and Namibia, and then a couple of wild cards thrown in for good measure to just add some real spice and vibrancy to the competition. Well, since the advent of professionalism, I think club rugby in South Africa went a bit on the back burner, interest waned, and there was a pressing need for some kind of a revival to happen. And we saw the Community Cup and now the Gold Cup as a catalyst to revive interest amongst clubs and supporters.
About 4 years ago, before Dwayne came up, the question was asked, what's the purpose of club rugby? Where do they fit into in the big scheme of things? When the Community Cup came, it was a breath of fresh air, because everybody had a different goal to aspire to now. And what we're doing here, we're catering for the hope and ambitions of youngsters who want to play higher rugby. And I think the Gold Cup will breathe a new life into club rugby, because I personally am very worried that if we don't continue with the Gold Cup, we won't have rugby in another couple of years, at club level particularly.
I think the Gold Cup has given the working class something to work towards, some hope. Because in the past, once you finish Varsity Cup, then you just, okay, I'll just play for the fun of it, you know, let's go play a Sunday league or whatever. But now, with the Gold Cup, they've given the working class a real hope and drive to continue playing.
Positive communication, right?
The stats are that only 0.1% of all the school leavers in South Africa who carry on playing rugby go through the Varsity Cup and junior contracting system, which effectively leaves us with 99% of the potential pool of players who are, in inverted commas, lost to club rugby. And whereas in the past that was a cul-de-sac and a career killer, now suddenly club rugby is re-emerging as a legitimate pathway back for those players who may not have been able to afford to go to university or have been picked up by professional unions at that crucial school leaving stage. Now there's a chance for even those guys who missed out on all of that to have a pathway back.
You know, if you're not in the pathway from under 18, under 19, you have got no chance to really become a Springbok and be a late bloomer. So it's a fantastic showcase of guys that didn't follow a professional career, but still love the game, still want to play a bit of semi-professional rugby, still wants to be the Saturday hero. So the Gold Cup is enormous privilege to play in, and we're taking it very serious, and we want to go to the top.
The Gold Cup has had a real knock-on effect in terms of the provincial leagues that feed into the Gold Cup. There's now massive interest in those provincial leagues. They effectively rebranded as Gold Cup qualifying leagues around the country. They are televised. They draw huge crowds. This year alone, we've had crowds between 10 and 15,000 people attending Gold Cup qualifying matches around the various provinces. And it's just a very, very sought-after title to get.
Well, I think it's a privilege to represent your province in the Gold Cup. You know, let's start there. There's 26 other clubs in Pretoria that's looking up to us to wave the flag at the Gold Cup. It's always a question, who's the strongest province in club rugby, and the only way that you can measure yourself is the Gold Cup. We are very excited, and I can tell you now, the Currie Cup has got trouble if the Gold Cup keeps on going as it's going.
This is where the real lifeblood of rugby happens. This is where the passion for rugby runs really, really deeply. This is where people live for rugby, where players live to play on a Saturday, live to be the hero of their town. You know, they might be in a factory 10 hours a day from Monday to Friday, but on Saturday they throw off that overall and they pull on the jersey of their town's team, and they become a superhero for a day. They become the hero of the town. They become the guy that the youngsters all around look up to and dream of becoming one day. And I think that's vitally important.